Hey there, welcome to another edition of the Akashic Portal for the week of April 20th to 26th, 2020. This is the final week of April 2020, and it's a big week. There's a lot of energy coming through, a lot of shifts and changes. We're really gearing up to open ourselves up to what actions or thoughts or paths we want to take. What are we visualizing? What are we composting and bringing into reality? Or what seeds are we sowing? Because we are in the passageway of this great new age, and it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of attention and focus to, get the ball rolling and get us all going in the direction that we believe in, because we are creating our reality. And so what are you creating? Let's see what the cards have to say. I'm Jen Deshen of jendeshen.com, and I'm using the Illuminating Journey Cards that I created with the help of the Akashic Records. Card number 1. This is the 18 card. Very interesting. I'm having problems with the picture. Can you see it? Seeing there's a lot of light. So card number 18, soul portal number 18. This is, I think it is when I look at this card and I think about this time, I actually get goosebumps, because it's so intense and so important at this time that we understand that we're not going back to the way it was. This is all the water washing away our illusions. When I look at this card, I see this figure here. It looks like a figure, almost like playing a drum or calling us, and looks like an Egyptian figure, Anubis, calling us to action. And when I look down this passageway, I see this opening. Right? So there's also this black portal, an opening here that invites us to take this path, to take this passageway to what is coming. So yes, so that's very interesting, that this whole energy here of inviting us into the energy of the water, into the energy of speaking our truth, of being out there with what it is we want to share with the world, and kind of this breaking open of illusion and this falling down upon us is this spiritual energy, this awakening, the stirring of our souls, as we're being called to follow our heart and let go of the old, whatever it is that we have been clinging to, holding on to, wanting to stay here, and to realize that this is a time where everything is shifting. So everything's in this motion. And even the number 18 is about letting go, releasing, and 1 and 8 is 9. I actually call this number, the 18 is the number of the ego, or releasing of the, the overshadowing of the ego, or the way the ego can control our thoughts and choices, because we want to feel a certain thing, we want to know a certain thing, we want to be in control. And so this washing down of the light, of this energy, this moving up, this shifting that is shown in this card, is all about that washing away, that the old washes away. So 9, the 1 and 8, is truly about coming into that place of who we are, right? This idea, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, what do I value, what's important to me. And we're being pushed into that understanding, like I need to get there to that place and just allow everything that doesn't match that vibration to just fall away, allow ourselves to be pulled into the idea of the greatest spirit, the essence of God, the spiritual awareness that we're not alone, that our souls are helping us, and our connection to the divine, our connection to the earth is helping us to have resolve, right? To have this great resolve and discipline and focus that's necessary for these unknowing times, to walk this passage with conviction, with certainty, even though we don't know what's happening, and just keep making those choices that are value-based to us, not being pulled apart or aside to someone else's ideas. And 9, of course, is about endings. The 1 and 8 is about endings. It's about invigorating our leadership within us, and also seeing that whatever we do is connected to everyone else. We are one, right? So when I do something, even though you don't know it, it impacts you. And that's kind of the greater picture of all of this. And the second card is the number 2. So how interesting, because we're in a 2020 year, and the flow of the 2, the surrender to what is, the acceptance that this is this moment I've been waiting for. This is the joyful celebration of this time. What do I need to surrender of myself, of my ego, talking from this card? What do I need to, focus on or set boundaries around so I can move into a space of neutrality? Because 2 reminds us about relationships. It reminds us that to feel something, to feel that we're maybe being used or a victim, we have to be in agreement with somebody that is victimizing us. So we have to be in agreement with it. As the collective, 2 is also represents the collective in a sense, because it's our relationship with each other, it's our relationship with spirit, our relationship with the world. It's attending to the details by following our intuition. So it's bringing together the 2 sides of who we are. These 2 cards just giving us such a sense of what is coming, in the sense of being focused on the relationship of what we believe in, what our values are, where we want to find balance and harmony, not by giving up what's important to us, but remembering what our voice is, what is our truth, what are our boundaries, and working through that. We may not know everything right away, but we have the tools to take the journey, being aware that we can change our mind, that we can get more connected, make better choices. Because 2 not only is about relationships, the relationships of 2 opposites, and how we find that central neutral ground, or that harmonizer that's true for us. Somebody else's opinion, maybe what we think we're supposed to do, and where we go in the middle, like where do we find that rooting that is true for us, so that we can act from that place and be in integrity for ourselves. So we are advocating for ourselves. We are surrendering all the things, all the goods and the baggage and the ideas that don't work for us anymore. So it's a very feminine number, in the sense it allows us to tap into that deep energy of being us, and beginning that path, that leadership of going forward with our voice, in our truth, building relationships, building organization, investing in things from that place of who we are, realizing, yeah, I have a choice too. I can choose this, or I can choose that. Like I can choose to be controlled by somebody else wanting to dictate, or me trying to control them, or I can choose to let go of that and just be empowered and be autonomous, and go, what is next? Given what I believe, what path am I taking? And the third card is the 7. So I just think this is such an amazing lineup this week. It makes me feel very emotional on a soul level. I feel very like these cards are just telling us that we are not alone, that we're so supported in this journey, that spirit and the guiding light is with us, that we are being guided and shown the path, and we just need to be, get clarity for ourselves. We're just not just leaping in. Somebody tells us something, oh, that must be true. Somebody else tells us, oh, that must be true, and going like, what's true for me? What's landing for me? So fascinating. We started off with the blue, and some people think of this card as the exit, or the exit of the Akashic Records. And this card, number 7, is considered the internal part of the Akashic Records. There's different cards that represent the Akashic Records, or the ethers of our consciousness, and what has been, what is yet to come, the promise of the past, the future, the present. It's all in there, everything we've ever done, everything we could potentially do, all the history of all of us held in the ethers. Very kind of Aquarian energy, if you will, in some ways. And so when I see this card, I kind of look and I see now that these are kind of like almost like spectacles, glasses, eyes, like we can look through and see and know that, you know, the land is below, the terrain, and above we have the cosmos. And these windows of our souls and windows of our opportunity that allow us to let go of the ideas or things that we thought of precious, because they're not disappearing, they're just going into storage, right? So we're revolving storage, we're putting things aside so we can take the path of light, so that we can actually expand and feel the light of the cosmos, the light of the earth, the relationship with those things, so that we can actually develop a more profound relationship. So in a sense, you know, here we are looking at what's leaving, what's, you know, what we're being pushed out into the world in a new way, being washed, all of our thoughts, focus being washed and moved by what's happening, releasing these old habits, finding the balance of what's true, and then coming into back, like leaving and then coming back, like ending, connecting what matters, connecting to that, and what is true for me. What do I need to focus on? What do I need to put my attention on? What do I need to allow in? What do I need to allow out? And then coming back to this, the energy of the 7, the lightning strike of intuition. So this is a very intuitive time we're in. What are we intuiting? Where are we putting our energy? If you have lost something in terms of maybe work, or you've been booted out, or you don't know what's happening, what is it that you have? What do you bring to this time? What intelligence, what gifts, what skills do you bring that you can now innovate something new and not stay stuck in this is who I was, this is what people have done to me, but instead go, this is my path. I'm choosing the path. I'm choosing how I'm going to use my gifts. Who else wants to go with me on this journey? Who wants to create with me, given my skills? Let's get together. Let's do these things. Even when we're experiencing loss, which is really hard, right? Loss of family, loss of loved ones, loss of certainty, this whole thing of just this whole letting go, this releasing energy, and starting to rethink what it means to surrender to God, what it means to surrender to acceptance of what is right now, so that we know how we can go forward. If we look at what is, right, we can't go back to what was, but we look at what is, we can decide how we want to connect to the next thing. And using the incredible support and love and all of the reserves of the records of the cosmos there for us to tap into if we so wish. So very loving, very heartfelt, very inspiring. And this number 7 and this card is also inviting us to really rethink how we've been operating. So it's almost like we're researching what has been, or, you know, researching what is now. What have I got? How can I take this and take it forward? How can I live my life given what my situation is now, without getting bogged down or too caught up in tragedy and sadness? And of course, if that's where you are, then that's where you are, right? There's no wrong place to be. It's just a reminder that all of this world of spirit and the bigger aspect of the earth is available to you to have a relationship with. which again brings us to the 2. So we have the 9 here, endings, and allowing ourselves to be washed in unconditional love. The idea of connecting as we surrender what is not ours, and surrender any of those layers that make us think that we're important or something. So we get down to the basis that we really know who we are, and we don't have to fill ourselves with the idea like, oh, I'm important if this happens. And it's just this kind of open-hearted balancing and connecting and looking at both sides of who we are, and then coming into this aspect of the spirit of what is available to me now. What can I do? What can I look at from the past that's going to push me into new energy? And what's very interesting about the 7 is not only is it a number that brings us back to our wisdom, but it asks us to look at our behavior, the behavior we have now, and go, oh, I'm behaving like this because, this is some belief, or this is something that happened in my past, and then going, oh, I need to do something different, right? So we're using that to kind of swivel away from who we've been and how we've been in the world, and going, okay, what do I need to do right now to go forward so I can, capture all of this, capture the energy that's flowing in, even as things are flowing out, as I follow my own calling and brings me closer to being connected, as I understand what I need to balance, initiate, like intuit, and then initiate, like where do I need to connect and change and step into the true spirit, what's available to me on every level, so I can expand my growth, connect with people in a different way, just drop a lot of those old ways in being. Expecting things to stay the same is an illusion. So we have to wash all that away and become more impactful as leaders. What do you want in your life? You may not always get it, but you have to put it out there, right? You have to ask for it. You have to request it in order for it to be heard. And the more focused you are, the more chance that the things you desire come to pass. At this time, many of us are looking at how we have abused the world or been abused, etc., and going, well, I've had enough of that. I want to put that down. I want to move forward. So what does it take to move forward? It takes letting go of some things, kind of making connections in different ways, speaking out for what you need, listening to your soul, to your spirit, listening to the earth, and then recognizing what's mine to do here as I go forward. How do I step into my spiritual kind of awareness and expansion? How do I become more connected to the light? How do I relate to the earth in a much more spiritual and physical way? Like, yes, we are taking from the earth, so we need to give back. What does that look like? We're looking at ways that we can work together, partner up, and build tribes where we're not so obsessed about what we want personally, but we're looking at, well, how are my choices? How is my contribution impacting the world? And how am I receiving so that I can give? Am I receiving generously so I can be a generous giver and move beyond some of the old confines? Well, love to hear what you think about all of this. If anything else came up for you, you saw something I didn't, how this impacted you. And I'm Jen Duchenne of jenduchenne.com. If you're interested in the Illuminating Journey Cards, you want your own pack, you can go to my website, jenduchenne.com/illuminating journey cards. And I hope you like and subscribe if you're interested in more videos. And I will see you again. And all the links will be below if you need to get hold of me.